This video is on objective 45, which is to state one role for each of the elements mentioned in objective 44, which are sulfur, calcium, phosphorus, iron, and sodium. So sulfur is taken up as sulfate from the soil or seawater by plants and algae, and it's used to make some of the essential amino acids that are needed to make proteins. And it's also used in some coenzymes. So here are a few examples. There's methionine, homocysteine, cysteine, taurine, and you can see the sulfur in each of them. And you don't need to know these examples. And the average human contains 140 grams and takes in 1 gram a day, mainly in proteins. And the next thing is calcium. And calcium is essential for the growth of healthy teeth and bones, since calcium phosphate is the main component of bone. And here's calcium phosphate. You can see the little calciums here. There's 3 of them. Yep, and you don't need to know that structure, but cool. And the average human contains about a kilogram of calcium. Next one is phosphorus. And phosphorus forms the sugar phosphate backbone of DNA and RNA. So you can see here the phosphate groups on each of the strands of DNA here. So yeah, it's pretty important. It's also important for energy transfer in cells as part of adenosine triphosphate, or ATP, which is an adenine, ribose, and then 3 phosphate groups. And in cell metabolism, the 3rd phosphate group is broken off to release energy for the cell. And we take in about 1 gram of phosphate a day and store about 750 grams in our bodies, since our bones and teeth are mainly calcium phosphate. The next one is iron, and iron is an essential element for all forms of life, and the average human contains about 4 grams of iron. And a lot of this is in hemoglobin in the blood, since hemoglobin is on red blood cells, which carry oxygen from our lungs to the body cells, since oxygen is necessary for tissue respiration. So here's a cool little picture of hemoglobin. And you can see the oxygen molecules that it holds in the red blood cell. So it's pretty important because it brings oxygen from the lung to the body cells. And humans need 10 to 18 milligrams of iron each day. A lack of iron will cause people to develop anemia, but foods such as liver, kidney, molasses, brewers, yeast, cocoa, and licorice contain a lot of iron. And another element is sodium, and sodium is essential to all living things, and it's important for many different functions of the human body. It helps cells transmit nerve signals and also regulate water levels in tissues and blood, which is known as osmoregulation. I misspelled it here, there's a T. And one example of its use is the sodium-potassium pump, which is shown here. So here's the inside of a cell, the cytoplasm, and the outside, or the extracellular fluid. And cytoplasmic sodium binds to the pump, and this binding stimulates phosphorylation by ATP, which causes the protein to change its conformation, expelling sodium to the outside. And then extracellular potassium binds to the protein, which triggers the release of the phosphate group from ATP. And the loss of the phosphate restores the protein's original conformation, and potassium is released into the cell. So this helps with osmoregulation. and regulating the levels of sodium and potassium inside the cells. Yep, that's it.